All right. Hey,
I'm good.
Studio 108 community. I'm glad you clicked in today. I'm glad you're taking a listen to this because I am sitting with a real master of spirit and channeling divine here on this planet. It's going to take so many of us to move the world forward, and this soul is doing that work. So he's from this area. I'm going to let him tell you more about him. I'm introducing to you Matthew DeRubertis, but you have to say it. I think I just slaughtered it.
That's okay. That's probably the most common alternative pronunciation that I
All
encounter. Yeah.
right, so say your name correctly for everyone.
Well, I think it's fun to say it, with a little bit of the touch of the Italian roots. DeRubertis.
Ooh, do it.
Yeah, DeRubertis.
Oh, DeRubertis. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It is. And so, do we have any cappuccino and scones to go with that, Mr.
Yes,
DeRubertis?
right now I'm drinking a really nice decaf pour over with really good stuff from Rangefinder Coffee in West Virginia. Shouts out to Rangefinder, my friend Craig, who owns an amazing shop. Mixed with Delion, my alternative Ayurvedic dandelion root based coffee.
Oh, excellent,
Yeah, but
excellent. Hey, I ordered
Tracy,
some, and
thank you.
I ordered some, and I don't think the order went through. So this is my
Really?
reminder to put the order through. Yeah,
Okay.
remember I was like saying like I was clicking and it didn't seem like I was
Yes,
getting it.
I do
So
remember that. That gives me a good ping to check on my systems.
yeah, or I'm going to check on my systems. It's a good ping for me to remember to put my order in. So Matthew, you're from the Akron area. You're from the Akron community.
Yeah, I'm originally from Cleveland. Grew up in Cleveland, moved to Akron in 2006 to go to music school, and then was based in Akron for a long time, mainly doing music and yoga offerings. Found my teacher in Akron, went through the whole training process, and then started teaching and hosting a bunch of different offerings. And then bringing my worlds of music and yoga together in my ambient music project and doing, sound healings and yoga nidras with, our good mutual friend, Kevin Karras, that luminous light being, that lovely man.
I
Uh,
know, like I said, it takes a lot of us. So the
it
community
does.
is gathered. So you also are
Yeah.
coming back into town because I know. Well, talk about your traveling and what you have going on here.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just give a real brief rundown. In 2020, when the pandemic changed all of our lives, I got a big break from, doing music and playing bass full time and started exploring a lot of other things that I wanted to do, a lot of which were, more in the realms of, just healing modalities and things to, open consciousness. And so I started traveling a lot. And when I got back from a big trip, I realized that I just wanted to go full nomad for a while. So since early 2021, well, that was when I bought, a camper van, built it out with a music studio and all the things that I need to do my work on the road. And I've been traveling around ever since. And in that time, a lot of other different avenues of service, have opened up for me, including this offering, which I'm presenting here today. But I still have maintained a lot of presence in Northeast Ohio, as it's where I'm from. It will be home. It will always be home. And the community is so near and dear to me. And I've found a lot of beautiful ways to still serve. But one of the things that has been cultivated in this time, living nomadically, is I started working with a shamanic medicine teacher down in Virginia and working with her serving medicine in a sacred and ceremonial environment. And, she wanted me to do all the Ayurvedic cooking for these retreats. So I was doing the music and the yoga and the Ayurvedic cooking. And Ayurveda is something that I've been interested in since yoga came into my world. I find it's such a beautiful modality for getting to know ourselves, just like yoga, and gives us so many beautiful tools to get more in connection with the rhythms of nature and to live in such a way that lets us move gracefully with those rhythms so we can be in sync with our environment and helps us to unlock a beautiful level of health and vitality that is emanating from the inside out rather than something coming from, prescriptions and all the other crazy messages that we get about, how to treat our health.
Yeah, and I feel like when you start looking at these, I don't know, there's so many things you could call them, like the ancient practices, these more organic ways, these more nature aligned, rhythmic, respectful ways of working with our health and our well-being that aren't as Western medicine pharmaceutical based. When you start looking at those strategies, it just brings a level of wholeness and cooperation. It's like there isn't this side effect, this causing that, this masking that. There's just like this really beautiful blossoming of wholeness and respect and cooperation within the system. So my guess is that your pieces of your life and of your profession come together kind of that way for you. Like it's not just Ayurvedic eating or cooking, it's Ayurvedic living, and which includes your creative stream of music, which includes your service that you're mentioning, like to people and how you interact with people. So that's a really cool place to be in life, Matthew. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I of course have to give much gratitude to my teachers and the people who introduced me to this beautiful modality. And I also want to highlight, the local practitioner that really, got me tuned into the magic of Ayurveda experientially, Betsy Black, who is in Wadsworth, Ohio. If you don't know her, do a quick Google search. And if you're wanting to work with I'm not like a fully, licensed Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm just doing diet stuff and diet coaching and teaching people how to cook Ayurvedically and get more in tune with the eating aspect of it. But Betsy is a full-on like trained Ayurvedic practitioner, and she is absolutely incredible. And she led me through a really beautiful process back in 2016 when I was just feeling really out of balance. And so she brought me through the whole system and gave me a bunch of practices from comprehensively to help bring my constitution back into balance, and in feeling how that was melding with my yogic path and the other healing modalities I was exploring at the time. It gave me tools to keep, after bringing myself in from a state of imbalance, to bring back into balance, and then to keep me there and to give an awareness of when I'm falling out of balance. And and diet is such a huge component of how we do that. And since I am just such a passionate food lover and eating is like truly the best time of my day, like every day.
Well, I think that that's a little bit regional too.
I think it's such a beautiful way to bring this consciousness.
Yeah, it's like we have this checklist that we're working with, so don't worry about it. But it's like in this part of the country, being a foodie is really a thing. I mean, when you look at the chunk of the year when there's not much else going on except what can you appreciate and enjoy about the meal you're about to have, and how can you gather people around for that, and how can you support businesses and support ethnicities and like expand your palate and your mind. And it's like a hobby around here. It's a hobby. Right. So yeah, this is a good place.
It's also to keep exploring what you just put out there. One thing that's brought me so much joy for myself and in sharing with others is that it becomes this beautiful creative act, where in modern culture, we're so busy that normally a lot of people are eating almost out of like inconvenience, like they're in between functions and they just grab something and shovel it down because they don't have time to cook or whatever. And yeah, it happens.
Guilty.
I mean, I've eaten meals behind the wheel, like it still happens. But when we can start to view the food we prepare as a creative act with all these layers to it, like I'm going to have food that was grown by local farmers that's ripe in this season, and I'm going to prepare it with these certain spices in this certain way to make it more digestible and nourishing to the shifts that my body is going through right now, and then to make that look beautiful and to offer it to others in a sharing type of way. I mean, that's such a beautiful multi-tiered creative act that creates so much connection between.
And I think that in terms of like where we're going as a society, as a culture, like you're tapping all of those real high points of our a sustainable lifestyle.
Mhm.
And a lifestyle that's really going to allow us to hold higher frequencies and to create better communities and to treat each other better and ourselves better. Like the whole thing has to start coming together. So yeah, definitely local grown, in season, like in community with people, and from a place of like joy and respect. It makes a big difference to our health.
It does. It helps to create a certain energetic baseline. Like when we start getting into things like yoga and spiritual practice and healing modalities, chances are our vibration is a bit out of whack. And we're coming into that because we are seeking to consolidate more and bring ourselves into more harmony. So once that starts to happen, then we adopt practices that help to maintain that vibration and slowly uplift it more and more. So whereas before maybe our baseline was down here and we were like, ah! And then we cultivate this new baseline of where we're operating is just in this beautiful, stable place. And when we're eating nourishing food, simple food, quality ingredients, and we're eating it with some degree of mindfulness and taking it slow and even more beautifully sharing it with our sangha, with our community, that is something that is going to be building that base level vibration really beautifully and supporting everything else that we are to do in this world.
And when we kind of interact with others around that who are also holding that vibrational place, we're starting to create a matrix that makes everybody stronger, lifts everybody higher. So it's really beautiful work. I want to talk about your offering in terms of, your visit to Cleveland. I don't know why things are happening here. This is so weird. But first, tell me about this coffee alternative. Let's run through that, because that's a pretty cool offering, because coffee isn't really all it's cracked up to be in terms of a great choice in the morning in particular. So so help us with this understanding. What's going on?
Yeah. So coffee is a real double-edged sword. And I actually just had that conversation this morning. Coffee is great when you're out doing physical labor all day, maybe for a long drive. And that's kind of about it. So many of us have become so conditioned to it just being part of what we do every day. And it's very drying to the constitution. And it puts a lot of stress on the liver, and it puts a lot of stress on the nervous system and the adrenals. And a lot of people arrive in this state of adrenal fatigue from having their nervous system ramped up all the time by this jolt of caffeine. It's kind of like when you just throw a big shot of caffeine in your system, especially in the morning, it's kind of like if you start your car on a day when it's like freezing cold outside and you just ram the gas pedal. It's like,
once again, that's me.
But yeah, you can do that, but for how long before you start experiencing consequences? So I came up with, I had the download to make Delion a couple of years ago when I got to a point where I was very out of balance with coffee, drinking it way too much. And it became very clear to me that I needed a shift. So I started exploring alternatives. A lot of the products, they didn't really satisfy me that much. And a friend of mine had given me a bag of dried dandelion root. And I had read that you could roast dandelion root and brew it, and it would become kind of coffee-like. So I tried it on its own and was like, whoa, this is like, it's silky, it's dark, it's like bitter in a satisfying way. And so I started experimenting, and I put a whole blend of Ayurvedic spices in there, which, have all these beautiful anti-inflammatory and adaptogenic benefits, digestive. And I roasted these things together and ground them and then brewed it like coffee. And then I got the satisfaction that we all love of the real coffee people. We love our ritual. We love pour overs and our French presses and all our fancy stuff. So you could do all of this with Delion. And so I drank that for about a year when I was really getting off caffeine. And then friends started trying it and were like, what is this? I want some, give me some. And so I've slowly been, turning it into more of a publicly available business. And so now Delion is available through my online store, and I'll have,
And the link will be below.
And then this winter, Delion is coming to mustard seed. So be
Oh,
on the lookout
congratulations.
for Delion on the shelves. So it serves this greater offering of Ayurvedic eating, because ultimately Delion is a herbal medicine drink that fits into this process of bringing ourselves more into balance and receiving the beautiful benefits of these medicinal herbs and spices, while also satisfying the coffee urge.
Right. And the ritual urge, because
Yeah,
it's nice.
totally.
And once again, like we're kind of foodies and we're kind of coffee connoisseurs. We want to carry the little cup and sip the warm something. And, have the coffee houses are such a great place to go for gathering a community and, having some
Yes.
connection out of the house. So yeah, like that's lovely. Okay, sorry, glitch. We're back.
Yes.
So when you come in town, you'll be in town for November.
Mm-hmm.
You have dates available for Ayurvedic cooking lessons.
Yes. So this transitions into another thing I've been doing this year, and to piggyback on what we mentioned earlier, not posting about it.
Yeah. Yes.
It coming from a natural extension of the retreat work I've been doing, where following the medicine retreats and people having the food and feeling the nourishment, asking me about, hey, I would like to cook more like this. Can you teach me to bring these cooking practices in my life? So I started working with clients one-on-one and coming to their home for a day, and we do a basic understanding of your Ayurvedic constitution and a basic understanding of Ayurvedic eating principles. And then we design a meal that's appropriate for the time of year we're in, and what stuff you're working with. And then we go out and shop, and then we cook, and then we have a meal at the end of the day. And then I also share a bunch of resources on learning more about this style of eating and how to start adopting Ayurvedic eating practices into your daily life.
That's a beautiful offering. That's really, really a lasting gift of perspective that is anchored all the way down through when you go to the grocery store. What do you pick? What do you buy? How do you work with new ingredients or new seasonings or new ways of cooking that can make a really lasting impact? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, I'm okay, next step cookbook. We won't
Okay.
pressure on it today, but next step cookbook. And you guys, I have this sign here that's going to be hung in the studio with contact information about Matthew's Ayurvedic cooking lessons, because when he's in Cleveland and Akron in November, he has some time available for offering this service to you guys.
It will be November and December.
And December?
It will be November and December, yeah. And then likely, and I'm in and out a lot. So if the timing doesn't line up for this current go around and someone is interested in doing this work with me, we can always plan it for a future visit.
That's awesome. Thank you. Are you going to play any music while you're here?
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
So you'll have to share a couple of those dates. So Matthew and I were talking about this whole marketing situation, and how as solopreneurs and small business owners, there's a lot of energy that goes into posting, that goes into Google ads, that goes into marketing out your business and your services. And we were talking about how interesting it is that Matthew's getting this urge of not so much that way. I just want to rely on my organic growth and put my energy into creating more connection, more quality in the relationships I'm building with people. And I'm having this experience of, hey, that old way, that systematic way that has always been done isn't actually working, isn't bringing the results. I too am thinking word of mouth and more relationship development and more of this organic growth. And so like when we see how times are changing and how we need to kind of shift and adapt and adjust for that alignment that we're carrying forward. You know, as some of the heavier stuff, as some of the old school ways are dropping off, like what will the new superpowers be? And I'm like a firm believer, customer care and customer service, customer connection is a superpower. That's the value that it really brings. And I know from having so many interactions with you over the years, Matthew, that you bring like such deep connection and sincerity and heart and soul to the service that you provide and to the conversations you hold, that I'm confident you're figuring out the same thing. Like that is the future of business, is this more organic, heart-based superpower. What do you think?
Well, first of all, thank you, Tracy. And I absolutely see the same quality in you. And it's one of the reasons that I feel like we have connected in such a sweet way over, this last period of time. It's just that
I
quality.
know I don't see you often, but it's good. You make me happy
It's
every time
always
I see
good
you.
whenever we hang out.
I
Yeah.
know.
But I'm hearing in what you're sharing now is that it's reflecting this larger thing that we're seeing of, we're starting as a modern culture, we're starting to see the wisdom of the ancient ways as it translates into what we're living through now. And pre-social media and pre-big marketing, what's the way that people did business? They just by default focused on the absolute quality of their interactions and really fulfilling a need for someone, finding something that was really true for them and was an offering from the authenticity of their being and connecting with people who really needed that thing and serving them fully. And that is the most meaningful essence of a business transaction. And nowadays we're so bombarded with social media and media messaging that we just kind of numb out to all of this stuff coming at us. The only thing that can really cut through and land in a personally meaningful way is that like really quality one-on-one interaction.
100%. 100%. And then it seems as if the product becomes more than the product. Like the product is more than the cooking lesson.
Yeah.
Product is the connection and the quality of the time together.
Right, because unlike we mentioned prescription medications earlier. It's like my aim with this offering is not to have anyone be dependent on me for a way to eat. Like I want to hang out with you for a day and show you some things to open up a whole other world of exploration and curiosity for you, so that you can get to know yourself better and engage in a process that is going to serve your health and well-being from a single interaction that we have.
100%. It seems like a
Rather than
transmission.
creating a dependency, it's empowerment.
Empowerment. It's like you're providing an energetic transmission. That entire gift just is available and
it's fun.
Yeah. And it lives on. It lives on well past the visit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. We could chat for a long, long time. I want to thank you for your time today and let people get on with their days too. But you guys check out Matthew's website. The information he's got hanging in the studio here will all be listed at the bottom. Like look into it a little bit further. You can grab a little bit of this Delion. Am I saying it right? Delion. Oh my gosh, today in my pronunciation, I'm like a big B-. But we can grab some Delion and we're going to sit and have some together. We'll have it here at the studio. So ask me to see it and we're going to share it because my order's going in today. Oh, I know. And then we'll share some music too. Matthew, share some dates with me so I can come see you this winter.
Will do.
Awesome. All right. You guys hit the buttons and comment, like, share, all that stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for following. Namaste, buddy. I appreciate you.
Satnam, Tracy. Blessings.
Satnam.